Good evening.
Good evening, friends.
Hi.
How are ya?
So, where do we begin?
We're gonna start a new mini series type thing where we're gonna talk about our personal lives and questions that people have asked us, and we're gonna answer to them. So I know that for myself and also for you, we get asked a lot about our relationship with God by people who maybe have a relationship with God or maybe they don't. But we just want to talk about a point in time when we felt like we were super close with God, when
when things changed.
Like after you got saved and when you you get saved and it's a life-changing moment, but after that you still are kind of weeding out your old ways of living. So that moment where you finally make the decision, okay, God, I'm surrendering it all.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. So what was that experience like for you?
So, I got saved 10 years ago, and that was after growing up in church my whole life, in a Lutheran church.
Yeah.
And I still, even though I was going to a spirit-filled church, and after I got baptized in the Holy Spirit, I still really battled with depression for a long time. And a couple years ago, it got really bad, really serious. And I was never medicated because of my job, but I was probably at that point where I was really scaring myself. And I was going to church and I was praying, and I just felt so lonely, and the devil would just tell me all kinds of lies and I would just believe him because I just felt I'd isolated myself. So anything that he said, I believed. And
what types of things would, what thoughts did you have?
Well, there was a lot about my family, they all seemed to have perfect lives and I didn't, even though I have my dream car and a really good job and a house, and he would just tell me that it wasn't good enough and that I wasn't good enough and that I would never have what they have. And even though I don't want what they have, my life is different, but he would just always point out things like that, and I was yeah, you're right, and it would just get me really down. And so I kept walls up, and I would go to small group things and try and get involved in the church. And even at those things in the church, the devil would be you don't belong here, you don't fit in, you're not like these people.
Wow.
And I'd be you're right, and just come home and be why did I even go? And then I wouldn't go anymore. And I was still playing with sin on the side a little bit, not a lot.
What do you mean playing with sin? Let's get a definition here.
So part of my testimony is I grew up in a really good family. They were Christian. We had a really good life. And this is why Jesus is for everyone. I had a good childhood. My family is still married, still really happy. And I was the kind of kid that when I went to college, I busted out into some freedom and discovered alcohol and just took advantage of being out on my own for the first time.
Yeah.
And it got a little out of control. And then after college, I had that out of my system, but I still would drink sometimes, still get drunk sometimes with my good friends, and just still going to church and struggling and not understanding why. And then about 2 years ago, just out of the blue, I was you know what, I'm just done. I'm done with this. it's not worth it to try and be good and live holy 6 months and then go on a month of whatever I want. And I just said, it's not worth it. What if I died when I was drunk? Would I still go to heaven? It's not worth the risk. So about 2 years ago, I just stopped and I started living holy, and my life changed quick.
But was it obviously wasn't in your own doing, because all that time was...
No, I can remember a distinct moment when Teddy Shuttlesworth laid hands on me, and I felt different. I felt something come off of me. It just felt different. There was always a heavy weight just waking up and being you don't belong here, you should move. I tried to move a bunch of times to different states, and wherever I went, I still wasn't happy. I didn't have peace. There wasn't joy. It was just a struggle everywhere. And Teddy prayed for me and laid hands on me, and it was just different. And that was the turning point for me. It lifted off. It did.
So it took that surrendering
Yeah,
I guess you could
that
say.
was after I was living holy. So I had like stopped messing around, and I was like, my prayer life increased. I was doing the right things, like following what God says to do. No more drunkenness, no more wild parties. I wasn't swearing anymore. I wasn't like watching stuff that I shouldn't, and it just happened.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was like that was the point where, because I'm a control freak. Anybody who knows me knows that. And so the hardest part of this was like surrendering to God and like giving up my plan for his plan. Because I was like, yeah, like we're going to make it work, God and I. But that's not how it works. It's not your plan and you fit God into it. It's God's plan. And I really surrendered and it changed.
So what would you give for advice for anybody who maybe is battling with what you went through, like the depressive state, knowing that God has more and a better plan for your life, but just being stuck in that season of depression?
I mean, you have to go to church. You have to get to know what God says about you, because it's so easy when you're isolated in that place of weakness to just listen to what he says, and the devil can only lie and God can only tell the truth.
That's good.
So
that is good. Ooh.
I mean, I just listen to the lies all the time. And to be honest, like I didn't have a close Christian friend that would be like, that's not true. Like if you've ever seen the Hunger Games where Peter got kidnapped by the Capitol and got brainwashed, and then he came back to Katniss, and he would tell them stuff, and he's like, is this real or not real? And they're like, that's not real.
Yep.
That's what you do, and that's what my friends, the girl gang, does for me. Like I'll be going through something and talk about it, and they're like, that's not real. Like that's not from God. It's not real. And it's easy to get wrapped up in what the devil's telling you, because he is sneaky. And he always uses the same thing, so he knows the buttons to push, and he would push the same buttons with me, which is dumb because I should know by now that when he says that, it's not real and it's from him. But it's like he pushes on your biggest weaknesses, like your biggest insecurities, but it's not real. So I would get to know who God is, like get some real Christian friends who know their word and hear from God, and you can make it out, I promise. And like life got so easy. It's not flawless, but it's so easy to know the difference between what's real and from God and what's not now.
That's really good.
Yeah.
All right, well, I hope that answered some questions for you guys. We'll be coming back with some more frequently asked questions, if you will.
Yes.
But we hope you guys gained something from this, and we love you.
We love you.
And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.